Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video I'm going to look at the last deck from Mirrodin Besieged, which is Path of Blight, which is a white and green deck, and is, as you can see from the packaging there, aligned with Phyrexia. So let's dive in and start looking at that. So, it's an Infect deck, which which you might not be surprised by, but at least this one is a bit different in the fact it is green-white rather than green-black. Which is, kind of the expected combination. But this kind of represents that, Phyrexians were starting to leak into other colours besides green and black. Or really, Phyrexians being in green was kind of unexpected at the time anyway, because up until, in that point in the game's history, they had been squarely in black, maybe a bit of bleed into blue and red, but yeah, seeing Phyrexians in green and white gives me the chills. I really like it. Really love the Phyrexians. So they I think, my favourite Magic the Gathering villains, just because they are just, what do you do, what do you do against Phyrexia? Anyway, so the foil face rate is Phyrexian Hydra. So 3 and 2 green for 7/7 with Infect, which is monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. If damage would be dealt to Phyrexian Hydra, you prevent the damage and you put a -1/-1 counter on Phyrexian Hydra for every 1 damage prevented this way. So obviously, this is going to tick itself down, but even if you block it, that's 7 -1/-1 counters. So. And it's just a big old. It just is there to soak up damage. You haven't really got ways of getting rid of -1/-1 counters because that just wasn't a thing in block really. But this is just a big deal with me now. Otherwise, you're going to eat 7 infect counters. If you can find a way to get this through, which there are a few methods in the deck. This is like. This can just be end the game. The turn, not the turn you play it, but the turn you swing with it. Yeah, really, really strong, really strong. We have a single Blight Widow. This is just Giant Spider, but it has Infect, so it's basically it's better in every way than Giant Spider. 3 and a green for a 2/4 with Reach and Infect. Yeah, just what do you do against it? Just Infect is so strong. I had my whole rant about Infect in the Phyrexian Poison deck. If you want to go back and do that, but yeah, Infect makes all these creatures just so hard to deal with. Then we have 2 Rotwolves, 2 and a green for a 2/2 with Infect. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Rotwolf this turn is put into a graveyard, you can draw a card. Like, this is so strong for a common. This is really surprising that this is common, because I don't know, compare this to Cyst Bearer from literally just the previous set, and that is just a 2/3 with Infect. So this being a 2/2 with Infect for 3 is fine, but then also this other effect of by the way, if you're gonna block it because you want to, because it's got Infect, you don't want to gain poison counters. If this kills something, you're drawing cards as well. So really, really good, really good. 2 Tangle Anglers, 3 and a green for 1/5, has Infect, and has 1 green. It makes a creature block it this turn if able. So yeah, again, really mean. If your opponent's got little mana mers, they want to keep off to one side producing mana. Nope, you have to come and block me. Again, really, just really mean Infect creatures. The fact you can't escape it; it's gonna make you block it. And also, this draws blockers away from your other Infect creatures, which have higher power as well. So a single Viridian Corruptor. So this is really nice. This is like a Phyrex. This is a completed Viridian Shaman, which was kind of a iconic card from original Mirrodin, and it's almost exactly identical. It is 3. I think it's 1 extra green, because I think Viridian Shaman was 2 and a green. So 1 and 2 green for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, destroy an artifact, which is exactly what the old Viridian Shaman does, except obviously this one has Infect because it's been completed. So for 3 mana, this does a lot. The fact that it destroys an artifact and you're in a block where you have so many artifacts and it has Infect as well. Yeah, really, really good. And 2 Blight Mambas, 1 and a green for a 1/1, has Infect and regenerates. So even if they block it, you can just regenerate. Obviously, it is a good blocker itself because it can just block, give something -1/- counters, make it permanently weaker, and then just regenerate anyway. So, yeah. Have I mentioned? I think Infect is pretty strong. So this was so, I don't know. Nice is probably not the right word, but this was so chilling, I guess, to see like was white Phyrexians. Because if you've watched these videos at any amount of time, you might have heard me talk about like why I like white black as a combination, because I usually the relationship between white black. I like the Orzhov from Ravnica. I always like the grotesque mixed with the opulent, essentially. How something can be, this, obviously completely evil and disgusting, but also seem very like sterile and like put, it's hard to express, but it's why I like white black clerics as a tribe as well, because I like creepy religious guys, and priests of Norn are like the definitive creepy religious guys. So the 2 and a white for a 1/4 vigilance and infect. So obviously, super good blockers. They can swing, give stuff poison counters, and then obviously still be around to block any turn. But yeah, just white Phyrexians. I love it. I love white black Phyrexia because the overlap makes so much sense to me. I love that they're becoming like these religious zealot undead cyborgs. I love it. I love it so much. And like I love this piece of art. This piece of art I find is like so, I'm really going off on a tangent about this card, but like this art is so good to me. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Anyway, enough gushing about priests of Norn, because they're evil clerics. That's it. They're clerics as well, and they're just so creepy, and I love it. I just love Phyrexia having like such a huge identity in white black now. I love it. Anyway, enough gushing. 2 Time Strikes, 3 and a white for a 2/1 with flying and effect. So it's a much more expensive Plague Stinger. It's 2 extra over Plague Stinger, which is like the benchmark, I think, for like evasive creatures with infect. It's got the extra 1 point of power, but is that worth an extra 2 mana? I mean, I suppose you're giving poison counters twice as quickly, I suppose. But yeah, this is all right. I've just said, oh man, I really like all the white Phyrexian creatures. Honestly, the ones with infect are not that good. I think it's the ones in the next set, New Phyrexia, where they have their own niche. The white infect creatures I don't think are that wonderful compared to the green and black ones. But man, Priest of Norn, God, love that card. Love that card. Anyway, single core Prowler, 4 mana for a 2/2 has infect, and when it dies, you proliferate. So this is an effect you absolutely want. It is an absolutely damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you let it through and get poison counters, or you block it and kill it, and then they proliferate and probably give poison counters anyway. So yeah, this is a really nice card to have in here. And then Corpse Cur, this was in the this is in the green-black poison deck. So 4 mana for a 2/2 has infect, and when it enters the battlefield, you get a creature card with infect from your graveyard back to your hand. So it's basically Gravedigger, but just for infect creatures. But all your creatures have infect, so yeah, this is a great card. 2 Phyrexian Digesters, 3 mana just for a 2/1 with infect. Yep, fine. The thing is, just the fact having infect, it lets it punch up, and I say just weaken big creatures anyway. So yeah, fine inclusion to have. And then 2 Phyrexian Juggernauts, so 6 mana for a 5/5, has to attack every turn available, and it has infect. This was like, I remember at the Mirrodin Besieged pre-release, this was like a huge bomb in Limited, because it's a 5/5 with infect, it's just like, what do you do against it? You've got to really like double block to try and kill it, and if you're doing that, you're losing those creatures, or if at the very least they're getting absolutely mangled. Like, this has to be dealt with when it drops, because otherwise you're going to lose in at most 2 swings from it. So yeah, really mean creature. And a single Plague Mer, 2 mana for a 1/1 with infect, and taps to give you 1 colorless. Yep, so fine. Helps you accelerate a bit quicker. So the other rare is Decimator Web, and this is like a really fun card to me. Like, it's not necessarily good, but I like it. So it's 4 mana. You can pay 4 and tap. Target opponent loses 2 life, gets a poison counter, and mills 6. So this is like a fun little pun. This is This is a video. This is going to be a long video because I'm gushing about Priest of Norn, and now I'm going to do a little trivia lesson about Decimator Web. So these days, we usually just associate the word decimate with like to completely destroy something. We completely annihilate things. We decimate something. Decimate's true meaning is you reduce something by 1/10. And when you look at the effect of this card, that's what it is doing. It is reducing someone's starting life total by 1/10. It is giving them 1/10 of the poison counters, and it is milling 1/10 of their deck. So this is just, I just love this card. Like I don't know if it's necessarily good, but I love it just for just so I can be Captain Smart Guy and be like, well, actually, decimate means this. This was like kind of this had its moment in the sun in my playgroup for a while, because like there was one guy who was obsessed about like trying to get all three, like make someone lose to all three simultaneously. Like, I want to make you lose, I'm going to get you down to 0 life and give you 10 poison and mill you out all at once. And that was his quest. And like he tried it for a while before eventually being like, oh, it's okay, it's a fool's hope. But man, if you've ever managed to if you managed to win a game by hitting someone with all three losing conditions at once with Decimator Web, then hats off to you. So yeah, and then we have 2 Trigon of Infestation, so 4 mana, comes in with 3 charge counters on it, double green, you can put a charge counter on it, and 2 and tap, remove a charge counter, you make a 1/1 green insect with Infect, an Infectisect. So yeah, that's fine. Gives you more creatures with Infect, like you need it. 2 Banishment Decrees, 3 and 2 white instant, which is pretty expensive, but you can put a artifact, creature, or enchantment on top of its library. So this is what essentially. So it's Time Ebb is 2 and a blue. At sorcery speed, only hits creatures. This is 2 more expensive at instant speed and hits pretty much any permanent. So this is pretty strong, I think. Strong might be a hard word. I mean, like, it's you're essentially time walking someone, aren't you? Because you can do it at the end of their turn, and you lock them out of a new draw essentially, because you just put something back on top. So yeah, this is pretty good, I think. 2 Choking Fumes, 2 and a white, put a -1/-1 counter on each attacking creature. So again, so mean. Just like, you don't even have to block my creatures to get -1/-1 counters. Like, you're just going to attack with it. Like, oh, I've tapped out with my infect creatures, and just like, oh, I'm going to swing at you now. Like, no, I'm going to give all your stuff -1/-1 counters. Just so mean. Just so mean. Yeah, this being 3 mana, I think, is actually pretty strong just for this effect. I say, because it permanently weakens stuff. And then a single Pistis Strike, 2 and a green. You destroy a creature with flying, and its controller gets a poison counter. Again, you don't even need to attack with people to give them attack with your creatures to get poison counters. You can just kill flying creatures, and which is actually a legitimate deal, because you don't have many ways of dealing with flying creatures in this deck. You've got the Blight Widow. I guess this Banishment Decree and Choking Fumes. You don't have many ways of actually dealing with flying creatures, so this is a legitimate answer to it. And then some buff spells. We have 2 Unnatural Predations. Target creature gets +1/+1 against Trample and 10/10. So on Phyrexian Juggernaut or Phyrexian Hydra, yep, this is gold. This is absolute gold. Honestly, on any infect creature, this is good, but especially on those 2, I think. A single Mighty Leap to give a creature +2/+2 in flying till end turn for only 2 mana. So again, this goes really well on the Juggernaut or the Hydra. And a single Safe Passage where you prevent all damage that will be dealt to you and creature you control this turn. So yeah, if you do swing out with your creatures, you've got this, I suppose, just to stop all damage for a turn. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then this is a weird inclusion: Hunter's Feast, 3 and a green. Any number of target players each gain 6 life. I guess if you wanted to, I mean, it's fine, I suppose, because like it buys you a bit of time, I suppose, if you are taking a lot of damage. Like 6 life is maybe not worth 4 mana though. If you want to do absolute psychological damage, though, cast this, give your opponent 6 life, because it doesn't matter, you're giving them poison. Just like, here you go, I'm so confident I'm going to give you life. By the way, it doesn't matter what life you're on, you've got 10 poison counters. So if you wanted to absolutely flex, you could do that. And then 14 forests and 11 plains. So what could have been? So I'd actually struggled a little bit on this one, because the deck is already using pretty much all the green and white cards with Infect. So yeah, so my options were a little bit limited. I thought Green Sun Zenith maybe as an alternate rare. That would have made the deck like absolutely fly off shelves, because Green Sun Zenith is excellent. But maybe this instead of Decimator Web, because Decimator Web is like cute, but like I don't know if it's good. Whereas Green Sun Zenith is definitely good. So X and a green, search a library for a green creature card with mana value X or less, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library and shuffle Green Sun Zenith back into the library as well. So yeah, you would just use this to search out whatever green infect creature you need at any time. Viridian Emissary, I thought this could go in as well. Like, I know it doesn't have Infect, so it's kind of a bit off theme, but it is obviously a Phyrexian card. 1 and a green for a 2/1. When it dies, you search up a basic land. That could have been in here, I guess. And Skinwing, I thought one of these living weapons, especially Skinwing, just because it gives evasion, which, again, like a Infect deck is kind of grateful for, because then it's easy to fly in and get those poison counters in. But, yeah. The equip cost is quite high, so maybe not ideal. Honestly, like the card selection I think in here is pretty good. So yeah, in summary, I do think this is probably like the Phyrexian poison deck. I think this is probably the strongest one out of the set. It's yeah, like well compared to the other three, Battle Cries is okay. And then the Mirromancy and Doom Inevitable are honestly like pretty bad, I think. This is probably the best one, I think, and I'm not saying that just because I'm biased because I like white Phyrexians. But yeah, I think this one is pretty good. I think I probably had it. Did I? I think I have a Decimator Web and a Phyrexian Hydra. I don't think I would have ordered them as singles. So yeah, I probably got this deck at some point. But yeah, I think this one is pretty good. So what are your thoughts on this one after seeing it? You got any thoughts, stories, comments, opinions about this card, about this deck or the cards in it? Like, what are your thoughts on white Phyrexians? Was my gushing weird? Like, I need validation for my views on white black Phyrexians. But anyway, so that is it now for Mirrodin Besieged. So we're going to go now into the next set, which is New Phyrexia. Spoiler, they won. And yeah, we'll start with that next time. But until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.